Tim Curry, the legendary English actor celebrated for unforgettable performances in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, Clue, It, and many other productions, has died at the age of 80 on August 25, 2026. Curry's career began on the London stage in the original 1968 production of Hair. His breakthrough came several years later when he took on the role of Dr. Frank Kenfurter in the Rocky Horror Show, a performance that eventually led to his film debut in the 1975 movie adaptation. The film would go on to become one of the most recognizable cult classics in cinema history, with his unmistakable voice, expressive features, and extraordinary ability to shift between comedy, horror, and villainy. Curry became a uniquely memorable performer. His credits included the sinister Darkness and Legend, the unforgettable Butler Wadsworth in Clue, Pennywise in the 1990 television adaptation of Stephen King's It, and the hotel concierge in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Yet there was much more to Curry than the characters audiences saw on screen. Before Hollywood knew him as Frank Kenfurter, Curry had already originated the role on stage. Richard O'Brien's The Rocky Horror Show opened in London in 1973, with Curry portraying the flamboyant scientist whose eccentric world draws Brad and Janet into his castle. He later reprised the role when the production arrived in Los Angeles in 1974. Curry once described Frank as someone who embraced excess in every part of his life. The character's bold personality, outrageous behavior, and complete lack of restraint helped make the performance legendary. Over the years, Curry also attracted some unexpected admirers. Among them was Princess Diana, who was reportedly a huge fan of Rocky Horror. Curry recalled meeting Diana and Prince Charles after a performance in Vienna and said Diana specifically wanted to meet him because of her love for the production. Their encounter became one of the more unusual stories from Curry's remarkable career. Acting was not Curry's only artistic passion. He was also a talented singer and recording artist. His musical work included performances connected to Rocky Horror and Annie, along with 3 solo albums, Read My Lips in 1978, Fearless in 1979, and Simplicity in 1981. His song I Do the Rock became his only track to appear on the Billboard Hot 100, a later archival release. From the Vaults brought previously unreleased recordings from his earlier career to audiences decades later. Curry admitted that finding the right musical identity had never been easy, but he remained passionate about performing music. His instantly recognizable voice also opened another major chapter in his career: animation. Curry voiced characters in numerous animated productions, including Gargoyles, Real Monsters, Mighty Ducks, and Voltron: The Third Dimension. One of his most recognizable animated roles was Nigel Thornberry, the eccentric father at the center of Nickelodeon's The Wild Thornberrys. His voice work allowed him to reach generations of viewers who may not have even realized they were listening to Curry. Another fascinating piece of Curry's history involves the Joker. Before Mark Hamill became the definitive voice of the villain for many fans in Batman, the animated series, Curry had reportedly been selected for the role. Curry later confirmed that he had recorded as the Joker but was ultimately replaced after becoming ill with bronchitis. Away from acting and music, Curry had another unexpected talent: gardening. He was an enthusiastic horticulturist and took great pride in designing and maintaining gardens. His work reportedly influenced the landscaping of homes belonging to fellow entertainers, including Colin Farrell. Curry even created a garden for Queen singer Freddie Mercury, although the project apparently did not survive Mercury's absence from home. For an entirely different reason, Curry became part of internet culture decades after many of his most famous performances. In the 2008 video game Command & Conquer: Red Alert 3, Curry portrayed Soviet Premier Anatoly Cherdenko. One dramatic scene ends with his character announcing that he is escaping to space, a line delivered with such theatrical intensity that it eventually became a widely shared internet meme. The scene accumulated millions of views online and introduced Curry's unmistakable performance style to a new generation. Interestingly, Curry's relationship with the Rocky Horror Picture Show was complicated for much of his career. Although the role made him famous, he sometimes pushed back against the idea that the film defined his entire career. At one point, he even described the possibility of returning for a sequel as something he had little interest in pursuing. His feelings appeared to change with time. In 2016, Curry returned to the Rocky Horror universe as the narrator in the television remake The Rocky Horror Picture Show: Let's Do the Time Warp Again. Years later, as the original film approached its 50th anniversary, he spoke more warmly about Frank Kenfurter and the impact the character had on his life. Curry once explained that Frank was almost the complete opposite of his own personality, which was part of what made the role so enjoyable. Despite his complicated feelings about the film's cult classic label, he eventually acknowledged why the movie had earned such a lasting place in popular culture. Curry was also intensely private about his personal life. He never married and did not have children, and he rarely discussed his romantic relationships publicly. In his memoir, he made it clear that he believed an actor's private life should remain private rather than becoming entertainment for the public. His career ultimately stretched across theater, film, television, music, animation, video games, and countless other corners of popular culture. From Dr. Frankenfurter in Pennywise to Wadsworth, Darkness, Nigel Thornberry, and countless other characters, Tim Curry created performances that remained recognizable long after audiences first encountered them. His death marks the loss of an extraordinary entertainer whose voice, humor, theatricality, and unforgettable screen presence influenced generations of fans. His work will continue to live on through the characters and performances that made Tim Curry one of the most distinctive figures in entertainment.